I love coding, I love technology. Is it possible to make money out of it? Can I write any piece of code? Can I build a website? Can I build a small piece of software? Can I solve somebody's basic minimum problem for which somebody can pay me anything? And the optimism and the hope was that if it can produce 10,000, I can probably multiply it to 10 lakh or 10 crores. But it has to first produce 10,000. Somebody has to pay for what I write. Hi guys, I'm Ashish Tulsian. I'm one of the founders at POSist. I'm also the CEO of the company. In today's episode of Backstage with Millionaires, I'm going to talk about my journey right from the start, much before POSist, to what we have been able to build today, to a company which has 5,000 plus restaurants as the paying customers globally. Before the idea, the real reason this idea came was because when I went to the college, like every other engineering grad, everybody was looking at which companies will come, when will we graduate, when will we get our jobs, and people were really excited about it. And first year of engineering, you're just figuring out the campus, you're figuring out life, and I had all sorts of loads of fun actually in first year, whatever I could have. And my first day realization entering into the second year was that if life is going to be like this for next 3 years, while it is fun, it's going to get really, really boring. I started digging, what is it that I can do? And the first thought was that, okay, I love coding, I love technology. Is it possible to make money out of it? Can I write any piece of code? Can I build a website? Can I build a small piece of software? Can I solve somebody's basic minimum problem for which somebody can pay me anything? And I had no number in mind. I just wanted to see if my code can produce money. And the optimism and the hope was that if it can produce 10,000, I can probably multiply it to 10 lakh or 10 crores. But it has to first produce 10,000. Somebody has to pay for what I write. So interestingly, I could not actually find anybody from my own college who was interested in doing this. And but eventually I found friends of friends and 2-3 people who were also stupid enough like me. So we built websites, we built few small softwares, nothing big, but people actually started paying us. My third year of college, we started a formal company, a business, wherein we were developing value-added services for telecom operators. And this was back in 2006. Value-added services space in India was nascent. Fortunately, we never looked for funding because we didn't even understand why will somebody give you money. Today, when I see when starting a thought process with funding, I don't really paint it into good or bad, but I think it's really amusing and interesting because when we started, these kind of things were not there. Angel investors were not even existent. India barely had any VC. 2006 to 10, while we were profitable, while we did good for ourselves. I continued post engineering with the same company. So that was all. It was a high. It's very hard to not be cool. Just be cool about it and be modest. I think honestly, I was ecstatic. I was very, very happy because while my batchmates were joining other companies, I was recruiting people for my own. As an entrepreneur, it was very hard to say no to myself. And what I mean is that I used to get these ideas every day. I had the power of technology. I had people to build it. We also had spare cash and money to fund that. And more than a boon, it became a bane because literally every day we used to think of an idea, and couple of weeks from then we used to execute it. And that's when I got turned off. And this was my second phase as an entrepreneur, wherein I experienced what money looks like, what profit looks like, what building a small organization can be about. But I wanted to build something big now. I wanted scale. I wanted scale in terms of number of people, number of customers. I wanted scale in terms of impact. And I don't mean it in the social way. I really mean it in as capitalist as possible. A larger impact for me, larger impact for my my team, larger impact for the world. Can I say that a percentage of population globally uses my product? That kind of high, and I didn't know what product. So one of the things which I learned in this journey was, in this period specifically, was that I need to start saying no. I need to stop jumping on every other idea which I get. I need to start saying no to myself and the others. And for next 1 year, I actually had to practice it to really come to terms with it. And 2012 Jan is when we incorporated POSist. And I think POSist is a result of that thought. And I think for us, it came because of a stupidity. A lot of people always think that owning a restaurant is cool. And I used to think that as well. I used to think owning a restaurant is very, very cool. Somebody else prepares the food, somebody else eats it. And most of the times when we go to our favorite restaurants, we don't really see, owners always there. So you wonder who runs this place, and you see it running automatically. So I used to think that as well. And how cool will it be to be a restaurant owner? How cool will it be to say, hey, I own this restaurant? And I was telling somebody, a few days back, I think when you are trying to do something stupid, when you have a resolve to do something stupid, the entire universe conspires to ensure it happens. So I think in no time our restaurant was opened. I think from the discussion to 30th day, or rather 21st day, to be honest, we were at the opening of our restaurant. So things went blazing fast. We could not even understand, how they happened. And to the point that I did not even tell my family that we are opening a restaurant, because by the time I realized that I need to tell them, we are already 7 days into the process and restaurant was under construction. So I thought, okay, might as well tell them when it's complete. So I actually took my family to the restaurant on the day of the opening, told them, hey, how's it? And they said, oh, this is great. Whose restaurant is this? I said, ours. And my mom was hysterical. She was like, what happened to your telecom company? And I said, no, my telecom company is absolutely fine. This is a new thing which we are doing. And she was upset. She was like, who will run this? How will it run? And I was like, chill, it's okay. And restaurant, to be honest, screwed us over in first 3 months like anything. Every day of those 3 months, I questioned, why did I do this? And that was not because the business was bad. Business was great. We were making money from day one. In fact, restaurant business is a great business if you have a great location, if you do decently okay food, and we did well at that. But the problem was that how do you handle labor? How do you handle a dishwasher to a chef to delivery boys to operations guys? Our tech instincts kicked back, and when we could not really operationalize it well, we thought, hey, let's try and take refuge under technology and see what can be done. And to my surprise, I could not really find any product in the market which was competent enough to do what we were asking. I actually found those companies who built software 10 years back. They were actually on a perpetual holiday. They were selling CDs of the product which was coded 10 years back. So long story short, we built this product for our own cause. We did not have any intention to build this business, and I think that is another great lesson for me, and that has been our guiding light for POSist as well, that we never say no to solving a problem in our domain, because what that solution will lead to, you never know. We never set out to be a POS company. If somebody told me back in 2010 or 11 that one day you'll be a restaurant technology company or a POS company, I would have told them that go consult a psychiatrist. Like, what do we have to do with that? But here we are today. So we built this tech for our restaurant first. We got our first set of 10 clients without even going out in the market. They were restaurant owners who discovered the product from our restaurant, from our staff, and they came very strong on us, and they said that we exactly want this. So that became the genesis of what POSist is today. And in January of 2012, when we incorporated POSist, that was because we sold off our telecom business, and we said that, hey, if we can come together and focus on one thing, we can crack it big. I remember we sold our first license on like previous model for 45,000 rupees for one terminal, for one point of sale system at an ice cream parlor. And for 10,000 rupees per year as the maintenance. And then somebody gave us the idea and said, hey, why don't you do SaaS? I said, okay, we can try that. And because you're charging 45,000, probably your customer is hesitating in buying. If you make the price lower, probably this will go faster, quicker. I said, okay, sounds good. How do you price it? I said, okay, you tell me what's the lifetime value of your customer. I said, 5 years maybe. If a customer signs up today, he's going to stay with me for next 5 years. He said, okay, how much money will you earn from this customer in next 5 years? I said, okay, 45,000 today, and then 9,000 per year, not 10. 9,000 per year, so that means another 36,000. The total comes out to be somewhere around 80, 85. It's all right, great. Divide 80 by 5 years. Said, okay, 15, 16,000. I said, okay, why not make it 12,000 rupees per year? So in the lifetime, you still earn the same money and your customer comes quick. Said, wow, 45 can be reduced to 12 and theoretically I'm still not making a loss. He said, yeah, I'll give you a better way. Divide it into 1,000 rupees a month instead of 12,000 per year. I said, this is fabulous. Now we went out in the market and we said, hey, this is awesome. We have got this new magic wand and we are going to sign up hundreds of customers. I still could not find hundreds of customers who could buy my product. People still bought my product the way they wanted. They were still taking time, they're not going to buy. And this was a lesson. This was a very hard lesson because next month we sold another 5 licenses. And you imagine the outcome. Previously, when we used to sell 5 licenses, it was 2.5 lakh in. This time when we sold 5 licenses, it was 5,000 in. Who was supposed to give us 2.45 lakh to cover the costs? And that was a very, very hard reality. And we realized the lesson that no, people are not going to buy your product just because it is cheap. In fact, if people are buying your product because it is cheap, that's a bad news. You don't want to build that product. You don't want to be in that market, right? You would rather do it for free. So that became our first lesson wherein we were very clear that it's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be free. In fact, we are always going to ensure that we ask the right value of the product from our customers. And we do not sell anything which customer does not value enough to pay. If customer is saying that I would love to have your product, but I don't want to pay for it, that is a hint that that product is not valuable or that should not be something which we should be building. And that became the guiding light for us. So today, we are very proud of what we have built. It is all built with customer love. It is all built with true money, which is the customer's money. Every penny spent on this company is paid by somebody to use our services, somebody who gets ROI from what we provide. And to give you some stats, we are going to complete 7 years this January of 19, and we are a 110 people team. We have our offices in Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore. We started building offices and business outside India some 1.5 to 2 years back. So we now have our active operations in Dubai, Singapore, Thailand and Mexico. We are starting US next quarter. We are already doing some groundwork there, and this is all a result of being cash flow positive, being profitable, and that has worked out well. So today we serve 5,400 restaurants across 100 cities and 17 countries, and growing well. In fact, we are one of those, people talk about bootstrapping and profitability. We are one of those companies who are earning in India, who still have 85 to 90% revenue which comes from India and is spending in dollars and dirhams and Singapore dollars and outside the country. So all of that is possible. It just requires some persistence and some consistency. We have chosen to be a restaurant specialist. In last 7 years, there have been tons of opportunities where somebody said, hey, why don't you build the same software for retail? Why don't you give the same software to gym spa salon? Why don't you just tweak this software for an amusement park and this and whatnot? And we said no. We said no to everything because we had only 2 options. One, we become a point of sale solution company for the horizontal, and we try and power every point of sale solution in India. Or we become a vertical player and we become the best restaurant technology player globally. We chose the latter. I don't know if the first one is a good or a bad one, but I think the second one is definitely working out great for us. We aspire to be the top restaurant technology company in coming years. Our aspiration is that if a restaurant opens in any of the 200 countries across the world, we should be one of the 3 names they think about before buying. And why I said one of the 3 is because once we are on the table, I think best product should win. So even if we don't win, it's okay. There will be room for improvement. So competition is, we are not a company, and I think that also probably percolates down in the company from me, because companies, unfortunately or fortunately, are reflections of founders. I am not somebody who cares for competition in general, and again, not in a bad way. There's no disregard for competition. What I mean is that we don't obsess over what competition is doing. We firmly believe and practice that if your competition is educating you on what you should build next or what your customer wants, you're screwed. That means you're not hearing your customers enough. And even if you are very, very smart in copying, you will still remain behind all of them, because you're always waiting for them to innovate and you're not trying to innovate yourself. So I think competition is for losers. There's nothing called competition in true sense. If you are building a product which your customers need, if your ears are very close to the ground, if your process is organic enough, if you're listening to your customers continuously, competition does not really exist. I'll give you another side of it. I think a lot of people obsess over competition because they also think that their market is too small. Most of the times, when I go in, I have a habit to go and meet my competitors wherever I can find them. And I always tell them that, hey, I don't have large enough market share right now to worry about you. You don't have large enough market share either. If you own 1% of the market, I own 1% of the market, both of us have a problem called 98%, and not each other. Even if I kill you, I won't win because I'll still have 2%. So I think competition is for winners. Probably I'll obsess over competition the day I have 50% market share. Then I'll try to see who's number 2 and by what percentage is he or she ahead of me. Till the time I have a large market share, I don't need to believe in competition. When I meet any entrepreneur, no matter smart, big, small, I always ask them one question: who's your competitor? Because that tells me what is it that they are standing for. If somebody tells me my competitor is Oracle, that means okay, he's shooting for the moon. If somebody tells me a local company, I get to know that okay, the guy is probably thinking too small. And if you need to choose a large competitor, one thing which you really which you should wish for is, while you believe that top guy is your competitor, does that top guy acknowledge you as a competitor? If they acknowledge you, if they only even tell you that okay, I know you exist, I think that's a great sign. That means you have done at least something well. You cannot call out the top guy on day one, but if you have pursuit and intention to continuously work your way up to a point where you are able to call the top guy in the market your competition and can work consistently towards getting an acknowledgement from them, probably you're on a great path. Businesses which are built to last, they take at least 10 years to mature. Cycles might have compressed, but they haven't compressed enough for somebody to just say that we built a sustainable, great business within 2 years. Somebody like a Facebook also took 11 years to IPO, and if you see most of the tech IPOs, even in Silicon Valley, you will find a decade worth of work behind them, before they could really, become so big. So I think Indian ecosystem is in a very, very interesting time right now. My only hope, wish, or advice to entrepreneurs is that stick to your guns, sustain, be persistent, ensure that what you have started, you have the patience to see it through for at least 7 years, if not 10. So guys, this was my journey right from my college days to POSist's journey so far. Hope you liked it. Hope you found value in this. Let me know in comments. Tell me what you liked, what you did not like. If you have any questions, I'll be following all the comments. I'll also try to answer all your queries and reply to your comments here. Do support Backstage with Millionaires channel. Cheers.